Wagwan sports fans, welcome back to another post-game analysis. We're here today at the Catching Hall Sporting Complex in the second city of Montego Bay, where we were graced with the presence of amazing young reggae boys today who took on Trinidad and Tobago. And this is where we'll just break down the game, a quick recap, analyze it, and talk about where Jamaica went wrong. Obviously, the game ended 1-0 to Trinidad and Tobago. And as you can see on my face or by my tone, I'm a bit disappointed, but work must go on. So anyways, before we get into the analysis, let's quickly give a quick game recap. So the game kicked off, at 6 p.m. sharp. Kudos to the JF for having an on-time start. And Trinidad came out immediately on the front foot. In the first half, Trinidad outpossessed Jamaica. They moved the ball around. They were playing better football than them, and it was a bit surprising to me considering the type of talent that we brought in. Trinidad did get a couple clear-cut opportunities. Foster came up chumps 2 times in the first half, and I think Kemar Foster, though conceding a goal late, had a relatively impressive game. I think he was one of the better players on the field today. The first half was a lot of Trinidad and Tobago possessing the ball, Jamaica probably getting out. Omari Hutchinson wide, was working hard. He was creating a lot. He was pushing the ball through. He definitely demonstrated his technical ability and his ability to make things happen. A top young player, Omari Hutchinson, one of the better players today. We saw Trevante Stewart, in and around the area, challenging for aerial balls, but not really getting their foot on the ground. Jamaica tried to play down the wing a few times, tried to get in a couple of chances, but we didn't create anything clear cut. As I said, in the first half, Trinidad and Tobago really were the dominant team and they provided the majority of the opportunities. Jamaica didn't look assured, and I think going into the halftime break, Hutchinson would have lit a fire underneath them, because they did come out in the second half playing better. They made a few substitutions, bringing on one Dujuan who came on and did bring a jolt of energy to the game in the second half, coming on and getting on a few opportunities, making a few runs, failing to capitalize on a few opportunities, but definitely made an impact. We saw where Omari Hutchinson was starting on the right wing in the first half, dropped off in the midfield and was kind of taking control of the game, demonstrating his skill, demonstrating his talent. But unfortunately, we just didn't do enough to get on goal. We just didn't do enough to score the chances that we created. And Trinidad in about the 60th minute, the 65th minute, would have gotten a break because of some poor defending. And we saw that time and time again in this game where Jamaica were having defensive lapses and we were giving away the ball too easily and too frequently. And Trinidad and Tobago managed to capitalize. As I said, Jamaica did create opportunities. We did play a better second half, but the Trinidad's lone goal was enough to win the game for them. And ultimately the match ended 1-0 to Trinidad and Tobago. We didn't start off with as much intensity as I expected. We didn't play to our strengths as well as I expected. We definitely saw sparks of brilliance from some young players. Dexter Lembisca, Omari Hutchinson, and Dujuan Richards. There are a few young notable players that did make an impact in today's game, that we have to be pleased about. We can see where our future is bright. In a live that we did recently, I said that Lembisca has to start, and he did, and I think he solidified his position as one of our wing backs going forward into our future. So that was good to see. Omari Hutchinson showed that he belongs. He showed that he's of national player caliber, and I'm excited to see how he grows. And another Chelsea teammate of Omari Hutchinson, the recently signed Dujuan Richards, came on at minute 45, and he did change the game somewhat. He came on and he made a few runs. He showed his dribbling acumen. He showed that he could run at players. He showed that he belonged in this age group. He showed that this game is not bigger than him. And kudos to Dujuan Richards. But as I said, there's a lot we have to improve on. Hutchinson opted to go with a 4-4-2. I found that a bit weird. But I mean, we can't beat him. We have to see what he does with his full complement of players. But I'm curious how we'll incorporate the players into that 4-4-2. Jordan Fletcher was a player who, he's been on a tear in India recently, scoring what seems like almost a goal every single game. And he came out and he held up the ball well, and he did make a few runs, but he's just not able to get the final product, was just not able to get shots off, was just not able to score goals. As I mentioned, Javante Stewart was a bully in the box, but I just don't think he cuts it at this level. Dujuan Hutchinson, in his first half, he looked like a fish out of water. He did not provide anything for us playing in that left midfield position. We saw he was trying, but Lembisca really was the one who was dominating on that side of the field. However, in the second half, I don't know, Hargreaves must have told him something, but he did bring something better to the team in the second half. The young 19-year-old did start to express himself more and did start to create more and more chances. So that's something that we can build upon going forward. Lamar Walker came on with about 20 minutes to go, and Lamar Walker, he did try to make an impact. He did get into good positions here and there, but just not enough. Ultimately, just not enough. Ravel Morrison looked a bit deep in the 4-4-2, and I don't necessarily believe that's where he's best suited. So I'm curious to see how that role is handled going forward, that Ravel Morrison role. Mariappa, one of my favorite players of all time, but he definitely looked a bit aged today. He didn't look as sharp, he didn't look as fast, and his lack of football, I think, might be catching up to him, or it might be his age. I'm curious to see how they handle that situation going forward. All in all, a lot of stuff that I saw today to build on. A lot of players, a lot of young players. We saw Splat come on, not really making an impact, but we know that he's good for an impact going forward. Omari Hutchinson, as I mentioned, Dujuan Whisper Richards is one for the future. So I'm curious to see how it pans out. We play again on Tuesday, and I think Hargreaves has a couple of days to implement some changes, to make some adjustments to better our performance on Tuesday. But as for now, that's really all that we could have demonstrated today. The playing surface really was a detriment to our players, especially Dujuan Richards and Omari Hutchinson, players that handle the ball a lot and tend to make runs. So that's kind of unfortunate how that cookie crumbled. I hope to see them play better on a better surface on Tuesday. But all in all, not a great performance, but we saw sparks of brilliance and genius, and for that I must say I'm excited for the future. Anyways, people, I've spoken enough. I can't wait until Tuesday to see where Hargreaves would have made adjustments, to see how these players would have manifested all that they did today and all that Hargreaves will tell them, and implement it into the next game. On Tuesday, I hope to see a better showing. We'll be playing in the National Stadium. The turnout today was, I'd say, respectable, especially in the bleachers, where we filled about 80% of the stands. I hope to see a similar turnout in the National Stadium, and I hope for a better performance from the Reggae Boys. I believe Hargreaves will make his adjustments, as he did sound as though he saw a lot that could change. And that's pretty much it for this analysis, people. As Rush would say, if you like the video, like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video to at least 10 people. Ensure to get us 6 subscribers, because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day, people. Anyways, as you can see, I'm Joe Margraham, reporting live from the Catch and Hall Sporting Complex, and this was This or That Sports TV, and we're out.